I'm Trish Toby with WARC reporting to you live from Westchester, New York, where there appears to be some sort of mutant menace on the loose.
Everybody, I'm Matt Ocamp.
And I'm Pat Reber.
And say with us, Pete.
Welcome
to
Mutant Menace.
Mutant Menace.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, that sounded great. Welcome to Mutant Menace. How are you doing, Pat?
Matt, I'm doing pretty good. Having a good week, feeling productive. How are you?
I'm doing good. I actually have something really important to tell you.
Ooh.
Things in my life haven't. I said I'm good, but things in my life haven't really been so great lately. I've been dealing with. Oh, well, hold on. I've been dealing with.
Let's table this.
Okay, all right.
It seems like it's.
All right.
It seems like it's time for Pat's email corner, but I hope everything's going fine, Matt. Today we actually only have one email. It's from a regular email, Michael.
Hey.
Subject line episode 22 response. So this is pertaining to the Defenders for a Day story arc, or as it's commonly known, the Dollar Bills Defenders disaster arc.
Yeah, people talk about this in the Commons. That's what they say.
Email Michael says, "Hey Pat, tell Matt to tell you that this time in episode 22, I think the only question directly asked was which of the heroes in the Defenders for a Day story arc we had heard of and which we had read. As a reminder, the heroes you listed were, in order, Miss Marvel, Son of Satan, Jack of Hearts, Stingray, Black Goliath, Hercules, Iron Fist, Nova, Marvel Man, Falcon, Prowler, Torpedo, Paladin, Captain, White Tiger, Havoc, Polaris, and Agak.
God.
Of the 18 heroes above, I myself have heard of 10 of them before this episode and read comics featuring far fewer. It would be a waste of your time and mine to give a more detailed answer than that. Emailer for a day, email Michael."
But email Michael. Pat loves to hear about how you've heard of these guys. Okay, let's guess. He's heard of Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Black Goliath, Hercules, Iron Fist, Nova, Falcon, White Tiger, Havoc, Polaris.
Havoc, Polaris. Ooh, who's our wild card?
Who's our wild card?
Strange one. I think it's Captain Ultra or Paladin, maybe.
I think it's Son of Satan.
Email Michael. You know what to do.
All right. So
mutantmenacepod@gmail.com.
That's the only email in Pat's email corner today.
Yeah, that's it. And email Michael. Please don't clarify. Just tell us if we were right or incorrect.
And then email us about whatever else we talk about in this episode.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's early. I don't know if the theme song has gotten itself ready yet.
Queued up for a little later.
Oh, boy.
Well, Matt, what was the thing you wanted to tell me earlier?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, you know how I started out last week with 2 feet?
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, okay, so I was walking down the street the other day, and there was come on, I was just about to... All right.
Hey, look, Matt, the rules are the rules. We gotta move on.
Damn it. Okay.
Again, we'll table this.
Fine.
Maybe if it's not too late when we're done here, we can talk about your feet or whatever.
All right.
Matt, did you do anything X-Men related this week?
Did I do anything X-Men related this week? Let me think. Went to food festival. I went to some shows. I read some books. Watched a couple movies. Read some X-Men. And hung out with some friends. Hung out with a girlfriend. And no, I don't think so. How about you?
Oh, no. We gotta pick it up, man.
Man, a lot, man. Whoa. I guess yeah, this is going to be kind of, I guess, our shortest intro.
It's good. There goes a half hour of the show.
Well, I guess there's nothing much else to do except for, Pat, do you want me to tell you about Uncanny X-Men number 125? There's something awful on Muir Island.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay.
It stinks.
I will. I will. Released on June 19th, 1979, cover date September 1979, we begin. Okay, Pat, actually, just before we go any further.
Yes.
This is going to be, I don't know how rare these will be. I was going to say very rare, but I actually don't know. I don't know what we're going to come across in the X-Men. We want to issue a trigger warning to listeners. Yeah. There's some really serious stuff in this episode. It's not touched on a lot, but we are going to have to discuss it critically. There are instances of sexual assault in this story,
including
rapes, specifically.
Yeah.
So if that is something that makes you really uncomfortable to listen to, we will issue the trigger warning right before the issue in which that occurs. But for now, just know that it's coming, and you might want to, turn it off, come back next episode.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to continue on with There's Something Awful on Muir Island. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne. They're not listed as co-creators this time, Pat.
Ooh.
I wonder what happened. Terry Austin inked this. Orzakowski lettered it. That's no first name, so it literally could be any Orzakowski in the world. Think of an Orzakowski, could have been them. Glynis Wein colored it, Roger Stern edited it, and the editor-in-chief at this time was Jim Shooter. Release date, June 19th, 1979, cover date September 1979. We begin on Muir Island, where Moira MacTaggert is running tests on Phoenix and passively, aggressively expressing her anxiety about just how powerful Jean Grey has become. All the while, the two women are watched by the ghoulish, animated corpse of Angus MacWhirter, the man who wouldn't loan the X-Men his boat or whatever. Jean reflects on her life since she seemingly died and brought herself back to life in the shuttle crash. With her fellow X-Men dead, or so she thinks, and Professor X abandoning her due to his grief, Jean felt alone for the first time in her life, only to become empowered over the past few months during her travels alone in her interactions with many kind strangers. This will be important.
Before we leave Muir Island, I want to point out two things. Number one, Moira MacTaggert is sporting a look. It's a weird combination between like a science and superhero outfit. It's like it looks like the Black Widow's costume, but in white, and maybe not quite as tight. And then she's also wearing a lab coat over it.
Maybe kind of like the lady from the Avengers, the 1960s TV series.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But she's also got like a Velma haircut and glasses, and it's working. She's serving.
And she lifts those glasses up dramatically when Jean Grey takes off her Phoenix costume and is entirely nude. There's one of those woo like this. Exactly.
They were fogging up. The other thing I want to point out is that Glynis Wein on colors here is doing some crazy thing. There's like she's always been great with coloring the X-Men and just making them really pop, but her depiction of Muir Island uses like this kind of dull minimalist color palette. There's only a few. There's like a lot of bright orange on dark orange. There's a lot of like gray blue. There's a lot of shadow, which we might credit to Orzakowski, but still, it just gives the whole thing a really kind of like bleak, sterile feel.
Right. It's almost as if the lights are consistently off in Muir Island, and people are only lit up by the glow of computer monitors.
Right. Yeah.
So, back in Westchester, the X-Men train in the Danger Room. Split between trying to work as a team and as individuals, they completely fuck up, and Cyclops calls them pathetic. Wolverine storms away, and Cyclops worries that the X-Men's luck can't last forever. That can't be foreshadowing anything, can it? It's just a comment.
Their luck can literally last forever.
It's still going. It's 2025 and it's still going. Before we head back to Muir Island, we get 2 brief interludes. First, Magneto is recovering from his last fight with the X-Men in his base aboard Asteroid M and pondering how best to conquer the world. He's briefly distracted by an image on his computer of a woman named Magda, and he mourns how she once ran away from him. Huh.
You know what he's watching before this woman pops up?
Oh yeah, Memory Tape 17.
Memory Tape 17. So Magda is Memory Tape 7. Memory Tape 17 is his first battle with the X-Men.
Now, are we supposed to assume that these, like, somebody has been following him around taping this stuff, or are we to assume this is his memories that he has used technology to transfer to tape?
Extract to a tape. Yeah, that's what I assumed.
So, our second interlude, in a fancy inn in the Outer Hebrides, Jason Wynnegarde sits menacingly by a fireplace, ruminating on the past few months as he's followed Jean Grey in various disguises, getting to know her as deeply as he could. And by disguises, we mean, like, become a completely different person. It appears power-related or magical in some way.
He portrays, this is his description, a roly-poly priest.
And then the next thing, he's like a hunk. And Jean Grey is smoking cigarettes! Because she's not smoking in the thing, but she's chilling on the beach as this hunk walks up to her, and she's got a pack of cigarettes and a lighter on her beach blanket.
It's so cool. Smoking cigarettes is so cool.
He forms an image of her in midair and transforms that image from Jean Grey to Marvel Girl to Phoenix, and finally to a fierce woman in a cape, spiked collar, and corset. A woman he calls the Black Queen, whom he intends to manipulate Jean into becoming for a group called the Hellfire Club.
Oh.
Whoa. Who is this Jason Wynnegarde character? Do you have any idea?
No, I really don't. I only know the Hellfire Club from later. I don't think he's a part of it.
That's true. So, on Muir Island, Jean muses to Lorna Dane about how her powers prevent her from having a normal life, while Moira concludes that the power of the Phoenix must have been inside Jean all the time, held back by a mental block. She worries that, now that this block has been cleared, Jean will have access to godlike powers she will be unable to control.
Yikes.
Xavier, a universe away, wonders the same thing as he reviews footage of Phoenix holding the entire universe together when the X-Men were in space. I don't know if that was
a quick look at him hanging out in space.
And just getting it's just subtly cucked. They talk about how he keeps trying to involve himself in Shi'ar politics and getting, quote, gently rebuffed. Do you think that the footage he's reviewing is from Joff's mind tapes? Memory tape?
This is his memory tape.
Moira decides she's going to go reveal her suspicions to Jean when she happens across a gold tooth sitting on the floor in front of that ominous door marked Mutant X.
Oh.
Anxious, she opens the sealed door, only to be gripped by shock and fear. Outside, Jamie Madrox and Alex Summers worry about Jean showing her powers off as she saunters by. She picks up their thoughts as she walks to the lab and thinks indignantly that she ought not to be ashamed of flaunting her powers when she's interrupted by Moira's panicked thoughts. Rushing to her aid, she finds herself dressed in a Rococo-style frilly dress in an Elizabethan mansion?
What?
Yeah, people, you didn't just like skip forward in the podcast. That just suddenly
It
happens.
just happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Confused, she uses her powers to pull herself back into reality, only to be tackled by what appears to be some kind of shambling corpse. It's a pretty good it's a pretty good tackle too. It's a straight on like football tackle, like around the middle, like a sacking the quarterback is what I meant to say.
Ooh, very good, Matt.
Cut to Westchester, where Beast is walking into a dark X mansion he believes to be abandoned, when he's suddenly attacked by Nightcrawler.
Oh.
As a lightning bolt illuminates Beast's face, Kurt believes he's seen a ghost and teleports to the danger room to alert the other X-Men. Running to confront the intruder, the X-Men are treated to a joyous reunion with their good friend Hank McCoy, whom they thought dead, and vice versa.
Oh my god, it's such a sweet. It's such a sweet moment. There's a frame where Hank is lifting Scott up in the air like Dirty Dancing style.
Yeah,
and they're both saying, "You're alive." And I want to frame that panel and put it up on a wall. It is
a joyous panel. And Scott is, for the rest of this issue, Scott is smiling in a way that we don't normally see.
Yeah.
So Hank catches Scott and the gang up on everything that happened while they were away, including that Jean is alive.
Ugh.
They prep the Blackbird to fly to Muir Island, and Scott phones ahead to let them know. While Havoc and Multiple Man are about to search the lab to investigate Jean's terrified scream, Lorna hears the phone and runs into the house to answer it. They have a hurried and brief catch-up about both of their situations when a ghoulish voice creeps up on Lorna and the phone line goes dead. To be continued. Lorna Dane's entire role in the Marvel Universe for the past, 2 years has just been to answer the phone and tell people about an emergency.
About something terrible that's happened.
This is the third time it's happened.
It happens so frequently that Alex and James Madrox are both like, okay, let's split up and search the island and make sure our friends aren't dead. And Lorna's saying, but the phone's ringing.
It's become Pavlovian. She's just like, she goes into slight terror every time the phone is ringing.
Yeah. Sort of an interim issue, right?
Yeah, it's like a wind down from their previous adventures and a setup for their next adventures. But it resolves some things. Finally, all the X-Men know each other are alive, which is a good.
Yeah, we get to see them happy for a little while. Happy and like at peace for a little while, which is so nice. And it's not for lack of action. There's Danger Room hijinks. There's a neat new feature when Wolverine gets too rambunctious in the Danger Room. They just hose him down.
He gets shot across the room with water, and then Cyclops is like, "Well, you're dead."
Yeah. If this was real life, you'd be dead.
If it's real life, that would have been lava. A lava cannon. Yeah, it's cute. It's an issue that makes you intrigued to read more X-Men.
Yes, and it's effectively creepy too, and that's going to be, I think that's going to continue through the next couple issues as well, but just it does a good job of saying, like, on one side the X-Men are back home, they're settling into things, they're getting ready for their next adventure. Yeah. On the other side, a horror movie is unfolding on Muir Island.
Yes. And I think we'll talk about this more towards the end of the episode, but this subtle changing of Jean is fascinating.
Yeah, she's got an attitude.
Yeah, right. And like people just noting these little things about her, you know, sometimes we talk about a lesser comic, right? And I feel like a lesser writer would have had her smashing plates or something, right? Like screaming at people. But Chris Claremont just has her showing off in a way she didn't used to. And
right, she's changing clothes with her mind and walking through the cold without the appropriate covering.
Right, and rather than she's musing for a while, but rather than rather than being very explicit about, and I learned how to be independent from all the people that I used to depend on, though I did meet a bunch of strangers who helped me to become more, like, she doesn't say that. She just kind of says what happens, and you are left to say, oh, Jean's getting, I guess, more just like comfortable in the world without Scott, without Xavier.
Yeah. Very independent. There's still plenty of words. Don't think
That's true. That is true. It's just they're dedicated to Claremont being Claremont rather than over explaining the emotions of it. There's also a very interesting teapot that shows back up later and that I hate.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
Last thought. So they're trying to, what do you call it when you kind of make something more palatable? They're trying to rebrand Muir Island as a mutant lab. This is a prison for mutants who have acted out of line. And we understand that because they do have Mutant X locked away. Moira goes to unseal the chamber. As far as she knows, that chamber is just always sealed. She has no idea how long Mutant X has been missing from this chamber because she put him in a prison and just never opened the door again.
She's been back for months and hasn't noticed.
Yeah.
That it's been empty. Yeah.
So, Matt, I know you could probably talk about Muir Island for an hour.
Yeah.
But it's my turn to talk about Muir Island.
Okay.
In Uncanny X-Men number 126, How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. Chris Claremont, author, John Byrne, penciler, Terry Austin, inker, Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Glynis Wein, colorist, Roger Stern, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief.
Do you think he got his nephew to letter it last time, and that's why they didn't put his name?
Don't tell anybody. Just sign it, Orzechowski. Release date July 17th, 1979. Cover date October 1979. The X-Men screech into Muir Island fast and hard, dropping Colossus from the plane through the ceiling of the lab as Storm sweeps the air, dropping Wolverine by the entrance, and Nightcrawler teleports into the house. Cyclops drops the Blackbird down on the landing pad and rushes to the house where they find Lorna unconscious with the mummified body of Angus MacWhirter lying inert on top of her. Banshee stays behind as Nightcrawler ports to the lab. Storm has swept the island and seen no one, so she and Cyclops head to the lab as well. Inside, Nightcrawler is crawling through the dark when he runs into Havoc carrying a wounded Multiple Man. Alex tries to blast Kurt, accusing him of being an imposter, when Colossus grabs him from behind. Remember, he thinks they're all dead.
Yeah.
When Peter resists his cosmic blasts, Alex finally realizes that these are the real deal and the X-Men are alive.
Yay!
Well, you already knew that, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Elsewhere, Cyclops and Storm have a similar run-in with Moira MacTaggert. She tells them that Mutant X has escaped. Scott suggests everyone meet up at the house while he runs off alone to find Jean. He finds her on the floor, in shock, and tries to rouse her, but she wakes to see the face of Jason Wynnegarde. Jason, I knew it was you, she says, as the face morphs into that of Cyclops, who exclaims, Jason?
Fuck, imagine you've thought your girlfriend was dead for months and you finally see her. And she's like,
you find out she's alive, you go to rescue her. And the first thing she says is, Jason.
Jason. Oh, I'm so glad it's you over anybody else who it possibly could be.
It's pretty fucked up, unless your name's Jason.
Oh, yeah, and then he wouldn't have even known. Oh, like how, the actor Jason Marsden played him in the X-Men movies. What?
Wait. Is that his name?
No, it's James.
Later, the gang have scoured the island and gathered in Moira's kitchen to discuss things over tea. Madrox explains that while searching the island, one of his duplicates heard Lorna scream. He tackled MacWhirter, and suddenly the dupe was disconnected from Jamie.
He says it's like a part of his soul got ripped out.
Yeah, it seems intense. And I can't imagine that. Like someday when we get more into Jamie Madrox, we will have to talk about how that all works.
Which we won't while Chris Claremont's around, because Chris Claremont hates this guy.
Why even bring him around if you don't want him to be there?
There's a point in the next, like coming up, where they leave Jamie behind, and then later Cyclops is like, "Oh man, I guess I should have left this other guy behind." Why? You left somebody behind. You could have left that person instead of Jamie. It's just Chris Claremont fucking hates Jamie Madrox.
Wolverine wants to go after Mutant X immediately, but Scott demands that they gather some info first. Moira reluctantly reveals that Mutant X is her son.
What the fuck?
Wolverine is so mad that they're not going after Mutant X that he takes his claws to Moira's dining room table.
He just cuts 3 big gashes in it. I've never paid attention to whether or not in the future of Muir Island, if there's those 3 cuts in the table.
Moira must have been like, come on, man.
First my son goes missing, and now you're fucking up my furniture?
Cut to the Hebrides across the water from Muir Island. Mutant X, in the body of one of Multiple Man's dupes, now wearing his eventual signature trench coat, prowls the alleyways for a new body to possess.
Do you think it's like, remember when Iceman tried out hair because, was it Magneto?
Oh, because Magneto made him form hair?
Made him form hair, and then later he tried hair on his own. Do you think this is something similar?
Madrox is like, oh, damn, I look good in a trench coat.
Right, where he sees his dead dupe on the ground in a trench coat. He's like, fuck. Oh, what if that's the trench coat he wears from now on?
Mutant X, in Multiple Man's body, sees Jason Wynnegarde walk past and is held back by the powerful psychic powers emanating from him. So he decides to find another prey. He finds it in some random guy named Ferdie Duncan.
Wait, Fred Duncan?
No, not Fred Duncan. Ferdie Duncan.
His brother.
He is probably cousin.
His Scottish cousin.
The next morning, all the X-Men except Madrox, who stayed behind to watch the lab.
Yeah, what? Come on.
Head to the Scottish mainland and try to plan on how to find Mutant X. He won't register on Cerebro, and they don't know how much of a head start he's got or what his current body looks like. So they split into teams, each heading to a major Scottish city in their own army cars. They've all got little jeeps.
Yeah, they've all got little, the like open top jeeps.
Jalopies.
Yeah, like why did Moira buy 4 army cars?
Scott, teamed up with Moira, finds out the following. Number 1, Moira hates Mutant X's father. Number 2, she spent years trying to find a cure for him. Number 3, he's weak to metal.
Oh.
You just gotta stab him.
Convenient. Yeah, or shoot him with a gun, or hit him with a frying pan.
Phoenix, on her own, flies through the air, ruminating on how different and mature Scott seems to be, but worried about his feelings for her when she suddenly finds herself in 18th century riding clothes atop a horse named Satan.
Jesus Christ.
Jason Wynnegarde, who in real life is watching her with binoculars, is riding on a horse next to her as they seem to be on some sort of hunting expedition.
I don't like this guy.
She, Lady Jean Grey, is the first to find the prey and calls Sir Jason to her. He whips the dogs out of the way and offers a knife to Jean.
Don't like this guy.
To administer the coup de grace, congratulating her on a great idea of substituting a stag hunt for hunting a human instead. As she stands over the wounded man, he transforms into the desiccated corpse of Ferdie Duncan.
Fred Duncan?
No, Matt, Ferdie Duncan.
Oh, okay, his cousin.
Probably his brother. Nightcrawler receives the call about the body and shouts through a thick fog to his partner Wolverine, who is sure he's on the trail of one of Mutant X's bodies. Suddenly, a cop car and a policeman appear from out of the fog, surprising Wolverine when he realizes that this must be Mutant X. Mutant X tries to possess him, but recoils because of Wolverine's metal skeleton. Did we know this before, Matt, that he's got an entirely... We knew he had claws. Did we know his entire skeleton was metal already?
Well, maybe not. He's mentioned how his bones are hard to break.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he's mentioned that his whole skeleton is metal.
Interesting stuff. As he also puts a value on it. It's $3 million worth of adamantium.
Good to know. It's for $3 million, you can make your own Wolverine.
As Nightcrawler arrives, Mutant X declares that his name is now Proteus, the mutant who masters reality, and the X-Men's bodies begin warping into impossible shapes and landscapes.
It's fucked up.
After a few psychedelic panels of reality warping, Storm flies into the scene, zapping Proteus, and reality snaps back to normal. Refusing to kill him, though, she blows up his car to prevent his escape, and he lashes out in anger, slamming the ground into her with his reality warping powers.
Ugh.
He threatens to take possession of her body, and she calls up a gale of wind to slow him down. Wolverine and Nightcrawler watch helplessly as Proteus slowly advances on a grounded Storm. To be continued.
Whew. Again, it's just, he has to send Madrox away at the drop of a hat. It's like an editor is saying, remember, Multiple Man is on Muir Island, and he's like, fine, find something for him to do.
Right, is he like contractually obligated to put him into things?
I don't know.
Couldn't you just say like, oh, he's off researching something for me if you don't want him to be there?
And that's what he does half the time. And then the other half, Madrox shows up for 3 panels and then is gone. I don't know. Maybe the artists don't like drawing. It's drawing him. It's so hard to. I'm just, you know what? I am just so glad we don't have to say Mutant X anymore.
Yes, Proteus. Now, tell me, this is Moira's son. Did she name him Proteus? Proteus MacTaggert?
No, Pat. She named him Mutant X MacTaggert, and he changed his name in that moment to Proteus. I don't know what it is about superheroes and supervillains that they just occasionally, if they get a new costume or something big happens in their life or they have new powers, they change their name and announce it to everybody around them.
Yeah.
Like, well, stub their toe and then like, I am now the Forsworn, you can call me Avenger of this broken toe.
Very funny to be stuck in a cell by yourself with nothing but your mind for 20 years and the name that you choose is Proteus. I've thought about this for decades.
Yeah.
There's so many good moments in this one, Matt.
It starts with Claremont being real fucking Claremont.
Oh my god.
In some parts of the world, the dawn comes in like thunder. Just say a jet is flying past the boat. That's all you have to say. He's like, and the dock workers who are on their trawler have never seen a dawn like this one. Just stop it. We didn't even need narration here.
I'm going to challenge this even further, Matt.
Okay.
Where, that you know of, does the dawn come up like thunder?
Well, Pat, in some parts of the world, they must.
There's, with the advent of technology to help the hearing impaired, there's an interesting story I heard about deaf people who were able to hear for the first time, not realizing that the sun doesn't make any noise. I thought that was so interesting. Like, you just would assume, if you don't have any reference for sound, but you have plenty of reference for sight, that big ball of fire in the sky, that's too dangerous to directly look at.
There has to be some sound coming off of it. Then They leave Beast behind.
Yeah, what the hell? I thought that we were gonna get just like a Beast X-Men team up. I thought it would be just cool. Why not add another character in there? But instead, I do like to imagine Scott telling Beast that they'll wait for him, because that conversation does happen. But
Yeah,
then
he's
under
like,
his
"Oh, we'll
breath
wait for you."
being like, under his breath going, "There's no time for that now."
Yeah, no, buddy, we'll wait for you. There's no time for that now.
There's another really good Scott moment where he finds out that it was the body of Angus MacWhirter that Mutant X possessed first, and he goes, "Angus MacWhirter? That skinflint hated the X-Men's guts." Scott remembers everyone that's ever slighted him.
Oh, yeah.
He refused to rent a hoverboat to
A bunch of people in
for
superhero
costume
costumes.
strangers who didn't place the reservation. I'm on here on behalf of the person that did place the reservation. You can trust me. I'm wearing a mask. Calls him a skinflint.
There's some really cool and really bad art here. I mean, Byrne is just getting better and better each issue. He's probably already good before this, but he's just getting better at drawing the X-Men, maybe. But there's a great panel where Nightcrawler is teleporting from the jet to the living room, and it is half the panel is the jet, and in the middle is Kurt and his little Bamf poof. And then the other half of the panel is the living room. Very cool.
Oh, it's so neat.
And then that fucking teapot comes back. And it looks like it's the worst looking teapot. It's like, I guess it's supposed to be textured, but it looks like when the Flintstones have like a hunk of woolly mammoth meat. It's like got a bone jutting out from it.
I think he's trying to draw a lumpy tea cozy over it, but
is that it?
It does not look like that. It does look like a hairy piece of skin with a bunch of bones forming a strange structure.
I had to like flip back and forth like, oh, okay, that's the teapot. And I didn't realize until you were recapping and I was following along that teapot, it's its second appearance in the Marvel Universe. God, I hate Jason Wynnegarde.
Yeah, what a charmer, but in a very unethical way.
Well, I mean, he tries to kill a man. I guess that's the imaginary Jason Wynnegarde, but in real life, he's watching people with binoculars.
Yes. I mean, that's probably the least creepy part of what he's doing.
And he's got powerful psychic powers, we found out.
Yeah, and we know he's manipulating Jean's emotions to make her think that she's always loved him.
Right. It seems like that's what's going on. Like, hey, you have this other side of you that's connected to this 18th century royalty, and that person loved a person who was exactly like you and loved a person who is exactly like me.
He's a real creep. He's like probably a jerk.
I probably don't. I think he's not going to do any good things.
When we see him again, I bet it'll be trouble.
We find out Banshee's still powerless from when he lost his voice shouting at a mountain.
Yeah, it's been a while, too. They mentioned specifically, like, is he ever going to get better?
Yeah.
Still bringing him along everywhere, though.
It's still more important to have him come along for the hunt for the ultra-powerful escaped mutant than multiple man who can make millions of himself if he wants to.
Oh, and Kurt Rupert. Nightcrawler is now only near invisible in shadows. Wow. It's no longer completely invisible.
I'm surprised how long that's lasting. In my memory, that only happened like 2 times.
I
And
know.
this is it's like 5 maybe.
I think they're trying to walk it back a little bit, is making it seem a little more like he's just really good at blending into shadows, but that's not what you said when the Leprechauns were here.
No. Wow. Yeah, I mean, gosh, that's a sentence. All right, Pat. What else do you have to tell me about 126 before I tell you about?
Don't even say it. Okay. I do have one more thing, which so there's
I'm okay with it this time. You know what? I'm okay with it this time. I'm okay waiting and having you tell me about something. I'm absolutely okay with it.
Good. It's a good point.
Okay.
Proteus.
Yeah.
Warps reality around Kurt and Logan, and their heads start stretching out. It looks like a fairly typical like 70s psychedelia experience drawn out by a cartoonist. But Chris Claremont is writing things like Wolverine, whose being is grounded in a physical structure that no longer exists, and Wolverine perceives his words as drops of orange rain. This, as somebody who spent some time with psychedelics, this is clearly Chris Claremont drawing from his own experience on acid. Like, those are not phrases that you just think somebody on acid might say. This comes from experience for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and this is psychedelic comics for 100% sure. Though I would believe that John Byrne has never done a drug.
Yes. Yeah, he's like a Ronald Reagan type. Although, you know who never did a single drug? Steve
Ronald
Gerber.
Reagan. Oh.
The creator of the Defenders and Howard the Duck.
Never did a drug, so he claims. Well, why would you? You wouldn't have to claim. No, you could admit it.
He was in that bullpen with Englehart and Len Wein and Marv Wolfman and Roy Thomas, Jerry Conway. Those guys were openly tripping in the Marvel offices. And Steve Gerber was like, that's cool, but my imagination is taking me much further.
What a bizarre guy he must have been to know. Yeah.
I don't know, Matt. We're not following Steve Gerber.
All right. So here's where we have to re-up our trigger warning. The following 2 issues we will have to discuss rape. We will have to discuss some other kind of gross stuff like Oedipal stuff.
Yeah.
In a very uncomfortable way. So again, if that fucks you up, I totally get it. Next episode, we'll give a brief recap of what happened in these 2 issues. But all right. I'm going to move on to Uncanny X-Men number 127, The Quality of Hatred. Written, plotted, and penciled by Chris Claremont and John Byrne.
They're back together.
Yeah. Inked by Terry Austin, lettered by Tom Orzechowski, not his child labor son, colored by Glynis Wein, edited by Roger Stern, and the editor-in-chief is Jim Shooter. Release date, August 21st, 1979. Cover date, November 1979. We open in a wind squall. Hurricane-strength winds and pouring rain can only protect Storm for so long from Proteus. He's closing in on her despite the strong gusts. Wolverine and Nightcrawler can only watch off to the side, barely anchoring themselves so they don't blow away into the night. Storm, risking further injury, tries to fly away, only for Proteus to warp reality around her again. Up becomes down, and Storm goes crashing into the ground, unconscious. But just as Proteus reaches her limp body and prepares to jump into it, a bullet whizzes by and hits the ground in front of him. Even with Aurora unconscious, the storm rages on and Proteus can't see his attacker. We can, though. It's Moira MacTaggert up on a hill firing to lead her son away from Storm's body.
This looks so cool. Just the whole battle in the rain and the like it's whipping around them. Again, the colors, the inks, the art itself. There's such a creepy shot of Proteus in this police officer's body, like realizing he's being shot at and being filled with rage about it. It's just so cool.
Byrne's sort of attention to detail on his characters is really great. Yeah, like the rain dripping down their faces is very visceral.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially like even like Wolverine shouting in anguish because he can't move his body. Again, as rain drips off his face. It's just really whew.
Yeah. It's accenting just absolutely everything that's happening.
Yeah. Moira prepares herself for the kill shot when Scott stops her and tries to wrestle the rifle away. He's aghast that she's bucking mission parameters and trying to kill her son, not capture him. This gives Proteus the cover he needs to steal Kurt and Logan's Jeep and slip away. The X-Men all gather in a nearby grove where Sean is making everyone hot cocoa on a portable hot plate. They're all briefing each other on the situation when Scott notices that Wolverine is unusually shaken up by this encounter, and if he doesn't snap out of it, he might not be effective. To snap him out of it, Scott starts insulting Logan to his face, calling him a coward and dumping his cup of cocoa on his head. Despite Kurt's attempts to intervene, this does the trick, and we get a sparring scene between Cyclops and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is annoyed at this, and Cyclops decides that this is actually a great time to test everyone and make sure Mutant X hasn't taken them over. He brings Kurt and Aurora into the fight on Wolverine's side and takes them out based on their fight patterns. Turns out, Cyclops has a plan to take out most of the X-Men if necessary.
This is crazy. This is something that Batman is famous for, but
Yeah.
Cyclops has watched every one of his teammates fight and said, okay, if they try to fight me, I know they make this move, and this is how I counter that.
Yeah. It's definitely some badassery on Cyclops' part. But is it smart? I'm going back and forth about whether or not this is like smart leadership.
Oh, I think the fight is such a weird way to test when you have a psychic in your midst.
It seems as if they just needed to slow down the action. They needed to slow down the plot.
Yeah.
And they needed some action in the issue.
They don't even have like a location for it. They're just like, I put them in the woods. They're just hanging out in the grove. For some reason, Sean is there with a propane-powered hot plate. And we're not exaggerating. He's making everybody cocoa. Yes.
And there's this thing where it's like Jean knows what's happening. But I'm curious about what the conversation between Byrne and Claremont was here, right? Like,
yeah,
because Cyclops is fighting Wolverine, and then Jean Colossus goes to rush in, and Jean puts her hand on Colossus's arm. And a lot of this is like, a lot of what's going on here is told in Cyclops' thoughts. And I'm wondering if those were what Byrne intended when he drew the panels.
Like, in Byrne's mind, was there an actual fight that broke out between them?
Or like, was this Cyclops' idea, but only he knew about it? And then like Phoenix stopping Colossus from jumping in was just a part of Phoenix's like slow corruption. And I don't know,
like wanting to see the battle unfold because two men that love her are fighting each other.
Yes. I really don't know.
But it seems so shoehorned in.
That it feels like one of those things. Like, I don't know what else it could be. And maybe there was some panels that were redrawn. Like, maybe there was some stuff that, because of the way Claremont wrote it, Byrne had to redraw. I don't know. Like, it seems like the sort of moment that is a disagreement between a Marvel-style writer and artist.
Yeah, yeah.
which we know was happening at this time. So I don't know. Anyway, in a touching moment, Wolverine is impressed by this and says that he finally respects Scott Summers as a man. This is proof enough to Scott that none of them are actually Mutant X, but where on earth could he be? Mutant X, that is. Only Moira, still separate from the rest of the group, has an idea. She shows up at an elegant townhouse in the center of Edinburgh, the home of Joe MacTaggert.
What?
Remember back when you made a joke about Banshee hitting on Mrs. MacTaggert? And I was like, this comes up.
Right, she's married.
She's married. It's her husband, and it's the father of Proteus. Now a member of parliament with a bright political future. He's handsome, well-dressed, wearing a fucking sharp sweater, and welcomes Moira like she's been gone off at a work conference rather than gone for 20 years.
This sweater, he's a terrible man, and we're about to get into that, but the sweater he's wearing, just like this sharp, it's like a cardigan, but almost with like a suit jacket collar to it, and it's got a, it's very fuzzy, but it's got a stripe going down the arm that seems to be more of like a knit pattern. It's a good sweater, and
it's that kind of
that it's on a terrible man.
It looks like it's Scottish wool. It's got that kind of pattern on it, and then other parts of it that look more smooth, like maybe they're a blend. Joe opens the conversation by letting Moira know he will not be granting her a divorce. It's too politically valuable for him to be married to a Nobel Prize winner. She counters by revealing that Joe raped her those 20 years ago, leaving her pregnant and alone in New York.
Jesus Christ.
He goes to hit her out of rage, but she's bought a revolver and will have none of that. She warns him that Proteus is here to kill him and walks out to her car. Now, all right, this is all very fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think let's talk about it a little later when Proteus gets involved, because it gets more fucked up and I don't want to have to talk about it all twice.
Right.
But I do want to say this before we move on. This was initially Proteus's father was supposed to be Charles Xavier.
What?
Yeah, so that was Chris. Yeah.
Sorry, so when I first read that Proteus's father was, Moira said it was someone that I loved, someone I still love even, I was like, yeah, it's Charles Xavier.
Right. And like, that was Chris Claremont's original plan, but the Marvel editors at the time told him that like Marvel superheroes cannot have a child out of wedlock.
Oh my God.
And I don't think this was comic code. I think this was just their perception of what a hero is. So I don't know what point that changed, right? Like, it seems like they've been setting up that Charles was a father in several ways. Moira seems to have some sort of guilt over something that she did, and this is something to feel guilty about anyway, locking your kid away for 20 years. But, well, it sounds like he grew up a little bit, maybe locked him away for 10 years. But it almost seems like it was very recently in the time that this comic was written that Claremont was informed he was not allowed to make Charles Xavier the father.
That's so nuts. That's it. I assume it was consensual between Charles Xavier and Moira.
I believe that was the case. It was supposed to be a consensual, like she said. That's so now it's stuck with her saying that she still, quote unquote, loves this guy.
The
absolute monster. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyway.
Moira loves her guns.
She fucking loves guns, man.
This revolver is a new one.
Her very first appearance, she was holding a gun, remember?
Right, she comes out of the X-Men's, the Xavier Mansion's armory, packing a couple of Uzis.
To try to kill a demon. And
she's
now
taking sniper shots from 100 yards.
She's just, I guess she fucking loves guns. So, outside, Proteus approaches the same elegant townhouse in his latest body. We see Joe MacTaggert trying to reach the police chief superintendent, Dai Thomas, Patrick!
What?
Dai Thomas.
Who's Dai Thomas, Matt?
Have you not read Blade? What was it in? Marvel Preview with Blade? Blade's first appearances?
No, I have not.
That's where Dai Thomas came from.
He's just
actually created by Chris Claremont. Yeah, he's the police chief.
Of course he's created by Chris Claremont. Because he's mentioned in name only.
So then he was a Captain Britain minor character, also a Chris Claremont series.
Okay.
But we're eventually going to get to know Dai Thomas in when we eventually read Excalibur. So
okay, sure.
Dai Thomas. Keep that man's name in mind. Anyway, Joe MacTaggert's trying to reach Dai Thomas when Proteus's familiar word bubbling pops up. It's like, we didn't talk about it, but it's like this green decayed.
Yeah, it's like a weird swampy greenish with black lettering inside. Yeah, it's all warped and contorted.
He says, "Human father, I need you." Ugh. Back in the grove, the hot chocolate grove, Jean recognizes a psychic scream as Proteus's, and the X-Men head toward it as fast as possible. Jean, incredibly, is able to telekinetically fly Peter, Scott, Sean, Kurt, and Logan all on her own.
That's 5 X-Men.
Yes, and
one of whom has $3 million worth of adamantium in his body.
And telekinetics, they're able... It's not weight that controls how much they're able to lift. It's price. What?
It's price.
So, like, they can't lift a Fabergé egg, but they can lift 1,000 pounds of dead wood.
That's pretty good for what's the least valuable thing I can pull out of my mind in an instant's notice? Dead wood. Why would anybody need that?
Back outside the MacTaggert Manor, before Moira has started her car and left, an immense scream followed by a burst of power comes from the front door. She immediately recognizes that Proteus has overtaken Joe, and Proteus proclaims that he feels better than ever in his father's body. Moira tries to shoot, but her pistol is transformed into a viper in her hand.
Weird.
All of reality warps around her, and Proteus explains that he's absorbed his father's emotions and memories. God, Jesus Christ. Now, all he wants is her. Ugh. The X-Men are flying overhead at this very moment, and Colossus bombs in his metallic form, separating Proteus from Moira. The rest of the X-Men drop in, but Proteus's reality warping powers turn the ground under Peter 90 degrees and turn Scott's blasts into... You put toy blocks here. I think it's butterflies.
Oh. Butterflies? I just saw...
I don't know if it's...
breaking apart into little blocks. Either way...
Fucking
Avengers Endgame definitely pulled, whether it's butterflies or tiny cubes. This is what Thanos is doing with his reality warping reality stone.
That's true. Yeah. So
Avengers Endgame.
This was, it's clear. I'm looking at you. Sometimes take photos of your vast collection of X-Men comics and send them to me, and you just happen to take a photo of this one, so I'm looking at it now, and it's a lot clearer in the reprint in the Epic collection
that it's butterflies. Oh, okay. Yeah, in my version, because I sent you that and was like, toy blocks? You think toy blocks is the appropriate descriptor? And you never answered me.
Yeah, well, because you just said, look at all these cool toy blocks, and I didn't know what you were talking about until I read this.
That's fair.
You also often send me pictures of toy blocks.
Toy blocks.
Say toy blocks, or look at these toy blocks, or toy blocks, ? And I've just...
You used to get excited about this sort of stuff.
Proteus prepares to strike back when Jean rushes in full phoenix glow, challenging him to a one-on-one duel. Proteus, knowing he wouldn't stand a chance against Jean, takes Moira hostage. Sean, just learning that Moira had a husband, although, yeah.
All this going on, and he's like, I'm sorry, did you say Mrs. MacTaggert?
He was introduced to her as Mrs. MacTaggert.
You just wasn't paying attention.
And then he responded Miss MacTaggert, right?
You're right. In his own headcanon, she's not married.
You can't have headcanon about real people, Sean. This is how the gay lores get all fucked up. All right. He pleads to protect Moira's life. Sean does.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott knows that Proteus must be stopped no matter the cost. What will the X-Men do? Oh boy.
What will the X-Men do?
Okay. Do we want to talk about it now, or do we want to talk about it at the end of next issue? We've already kind of started, so it feels like...
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, I mean, like, this is deeply fucked up, right? Moira is taken hostage by her husband and rapist, who is possessed by the psyche of her son, who was a product of that rape.
Yeah.
And he warps reality around them to showcase, like, the aggression and hatred that was built up in both of them, because now he's got both of their memories and their personalities like merged together. So both the child is trying to punish the mother, and this horrible abusive husband's trying to punish his wife. And again, like, Chris Claremont, I think, is using this language intentionally. I want you. I think they're like, yes. I think it is an intentional, like, you are supposed to feel this really uncomfortable Oedipal anger.
Yes, she is, like, for the subject matter that it is, it's handled fairly tastefully as far as, like, just trying to understand the terror that is dealing with sexual assault and rape. But at the same time, like, there's a few really... It is so rare to find a female character in comic books that isn't motivated by some sort of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a problem that still persists. That's not like a product of the time. It's still an issue.
And to then expand that to be like, this kid now has a memory. And, like, that's what's, again, he's putting these things next to each other for a reason, and he's using the language he's using for a reason. I think he wants us, the reader, to think about how this kid has a memory of his mother's rape in his head now. The two are positioned. It goes, the rape is revealed. I have my father's memories, and I want you are all back to back to back. So
yeah.
He wants you to think, he wants you to make those connections. And we also know this kid who, I guess, they, and I will talk about this trope in a minute, but they do this thing about he was a product of a violent act. I think it's next issue they say that. And that is what made him evil.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about that trope in a second, but there is a metaphor there of him just, like, his resentment just dragging him from body to body and rotting those bodies from the inside out until he gets to his father. And I think there's a metaphor here that I'm not entirely grasping, but something very powerful and upsetting about the fact that once he then inhabits his father, he switches sides.
Right. He becomes the same ball of rage that his father is, as well as being the ball of rage that was created by 10 to 20 years in solitary confinement.
Right, it's as if he's inherited. I think there's something to be said here about inheriting the patterns of anger that come from your father, right? The patterns of, say, patriarchal anger, right?
Yeah.
And the attitudes your parents have toward your father, specifically, both parents, but more often your father has towards women, are the attitudes you're going to have towards women, unless you make an effort to counteract that, or somebody does on your behalf. But I think there's something to be said here of when he becomes his father, this like Oedipal journey, when he supplants and becomes his father, he now hates his mother the same way his father did.
Yeah. And for a pretty fucked up set of reasons now, too.
Yes. Because he had a legitimate reason to be angry at Moira. I don't think he had a reason to hate her. I think she was trying to save him. But as we pointed out, she did not. She went months without checking on him. So he had a reason to be angry.
Yeah.
But this is not that reason anymore. There's a reason that is now kind of nebulous to us, but we think is some combination of what, like, blaming her for what happened to her and the anger that his father feels. Okay. I do want to move on to the trope of a child born by rape being evil.
Right.
Because this is a trope that it dates back to ancient mythology. It's in the Bible. It's in the King Arthur tales. In Western literature, all the way up to the fucking present day, right? It's in amazing and progressive books like Beloved by Toni Morrison.
Yeah.
And it's in beloved but less morally upstanding books like Game of Thrones. Like this is a trope that happens over and over and over again, and it sucks. I mean, a child is just a child, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's something about having there's something to having stories about allowing your resentment of your own child because of your trauma, which is, the theme in Beloved. Writing a cautionary tale against that and saying, like, you might just repeat patterns by not showing your children the same care and love that, because they have nothing, they're completely unassociated with what happened to you once they're alive and their own independent human being. But more often than not, that's not what's happening. It's just saying there's something corrupt and rotten inside of you because you were born of this.
Yeah. Like a genetic evil.
Yes. Anyway, Pat, do you have anything else to say on the subject? I don't want to go too long, but I think it needed to be discussed.
No, it definitely needed to be said, especially just in the context of this story and the way that it works out here. It is, I think, as usual, we have Claremont trying to tackle a controversial subject, and half of it he's doing with a lot of thought and care, and half of it he's just kind of screwing up.
Yes. He seems like a very smart, politically conscious dude, but I mean, he was like a political sciences major, right? Like that was his degree, I think.
Okay.
And also maybe a little behind in the social sciences of the time.
Yeah. He's definitely, like, again, a lot of this isn't sign of the times.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how to show empathy for a victim of sexual assault, but he doesn't know how to not exploit that sexual assault for plot.
Right. And we are going to see him rail against this exact kind of thing later. So right. I do, like, in a good way, in like a, correcting other writers' mistakes way. So I I'm excited to talk about Chris Claremont doing it great. He will do it great at some point. The last thing before we get off it is just, you made a note here, and I think we should discuss it now before we get out of the sad part, which is Joe mentioning he won't let Moira get a divorce.
Right. This is a product of the time, right?
Yes.
And I actually don't know the laws in Scotland, but I know in the US it was only recently, was relatively recently, that women gained the right to choose to divorce their husbands, like to be able to sue for divorce on their own.
Yes, it's called no fault divorce. And it is actually currently under attack in the United States.
Oh, right.
So that is something that, if you find it horrifying that a man says to a woman, I won't let you divorce me, then you really have to keep your eyes on US politics right now. Because that was one of the, quote, Project 2025 goals. It's because they're all like this fucking guy. They're all like fucking Joe MacTaggert. And they're like, oh, we mistreat our wives so much that if they can divorce us, they all will. And what do we do then?
Right.
Can't start treating them like humans. Anyway.
There's some fun moments in this issue.
All right, yeah. Let's not wash our hands of it. We don't want to, but let's. Whew. All right.
Yeah, that's in the past. We've learned, we've grown.
What the fuck?
It is time for Pat's email corner.
I just needed something to divide
attention to transition us.
Thank you, Pat's email corner theme, for stepping in to help us at our hour of need.
I absolutely love the Colossus bomb. Please keep doing this, where you just drop him from a mile in the sky and let him drop into the ground and attack.
Remember the first time he tried to do it and Storm was like, no, what?
Yeah.
He was like, let me.
Hey, he's waving at her from the ground. One more very cool moment in the fight between Scott and Logan, when Wolverine is like, all right, now I'm really mad, and pops his claws. His claws come out of the bottom of the panel. Like, it overlaps the lines of the panel and just goes out into the white space of the page. It is so cool. It's
silly that this was so rare back then.
Yeah. It's such a common thing to do now.
I know.
Seeing it, I was like, whoa.
Okay. I get why. I understand why Proteus is vulnerable to inorganic material, like when he's outside of the shell, right? Like if he doesn't have a body. Immediately, what popped into my head when they said he was vulnerable to inorganic material, it's like, oh, because he needs to possess organic material. So if he's surrounded by inorganic material, he can't get to that organic material. He can't survive. Makes sense. Why just being touched with metal? Why that hurt him?
I said it earlier. Why don't they just stab him?
Exactly.
Just grab a knife and shank him.
Or like, has he never
used a fork?
The zipper of his pants? The buttons on his shirt? Like what? There's gotta be metal that touches him sometimes. And she did say it's just inorganic material, so that, I mean, fucking ceramic counts. Do you not use a toilet?
I guess cotton and wood he'd be okay with.
Yeah, he's fine with cotton. Dirt. He can touch dirt. He can touch leather.
Dirt and dust. Poop.
He's got a leather toilet seat. and he's got a wood fork and knife and spoon. Moira beats Scott's ass in this issue.
She just hits him in the temple with the butt of a rifle.
She hits him in the stomach, and he falls and hits his head on a rock. Right. And I just kept thinking how fucking funny it would be if Scott was dead.
If
She
he
hits him in the
fallen,
stomach. He falls. He hits his head on a rock, and she's like, "Oh fuck, he's God! I just killed.
I just killed Scott Summers.
I just killed the superhero Cyclops." And then you just never see Moira MacTaggert again.
Yeah.
And also, he says, Claremont writes, Moira utters a rare curse. Come on, man.
She doesn't curse.
She doesn't curse. You keep trying to convince us she's this tough as nails Scots woman. You're telling me she doesn't curse?
And she doesn't use curse words. That's so, I think less of her now.
All right. I'm friggin' done with this issue. We talked about it so much.
We've talked quite a bit. Maybe we should just move right on to Uncanny X-Men number 128, The Action of the Tiger.
Oh, did you ever... I've read this issue. You've read this issue.
Yeah.
Do either of us know why it's called this?
Nope. Unclear. Chris Claremont and John Byrne, author, plotter, and penciler. Terry Austin, inker. Tom Orzechowski, letterer. Glynis Wein, colorist. Roger Stern, editor. Jim Shooter, ed-in-chief. Release date September 18th, 1979. Cover date December 1979. Proteus, possessing the body of Joe MacTaggert, is holding Moira beneath his arm while warping the city of Edinburgh into a psychedelic hellscape. The X-Men rush through the warping streets, attempting to save people from falling debris, melting sidewalks, and swarms of bees. He's turning building walls into swarms of bees.
And Storm is like, gotta use my wind in a way that I don't hurt these people, but also I don't want to hurt the bees.
Oh.
Storm, you know that they're a building. You know they're not real bees. You know they're a building. And she's like, I don't want to hurt the bees.
This is a question they have in Dungeons and Dragons a lot, where, like, if you summon an animal, does that animal exist? Like, is that, does it have, where does it go where did it come from? Where does it go when it disappears? Does
it have a soul?
Does it have a soul?
Do each of these bees have a soul?
I have the same question about bees that were conjured from the wall of a building.
Okay. I think in D&D it's about flavor text, right? Like if you're summoning animals, you the DM can be like, "Oh, and they all run out of the woods to save you." Those are real animals. But if you got like glowing magic animals, but then again, when you conjure a familiar, like sometimes people summon a familiar and it's not like it walks out of the woods. It's like it pops into being.
A familiar exists on another plane. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm more talking about when they're like, when they summon like a rabbit in the woods.
I mean, in the woods, I'd say like, yeah, that's probably just a rabbit, and it
comes jumping out at him. But if you're in the desert
and you summon a rabbit, I don't fucking know. Either it's going to be a really tired rabbit, and you waited a really long time for the rabbit to get there, or I don't know, man. I think these bees aren't bees, though.
They're not independent beings.
No, but I wouldn't put it past Storm to say, I don't want to hurt these buildings.
Yeah, they're alive right now. In a flashback, we find out that Proteus was released during Magneto's attack on Muir Island and was just waiting for a person to come along so he could possess them when Angus MacWhirter happened by. His subsequent plan was to possess Phoenix, but when that failed, he simply acted on whims, leading him to the present moment. We also learn that when Proteus possesses a person's body, he also absorbs their memories. He begins twisting and morphing Moira's body while repeating some of the same cruel phrases Joe said to her in the last issue.
Oh, God, it's really brutal, you guys.
As he does this, the city reverts back to normal, allowing the X-Men to make their way across it. Cyclops quickly puts together a plan using the knowledge that Proteus burns out his host bodies when he uses his powers and that he's weak to metal, and has Phoenix mentally transmit that plan to all the other X-Men.
Pat, that was a pretty big run-on sentence. You could have
Probably could have
done better.
Trimmed that up. Yeah.
I wrote that. I'm making fun of myself.
Storm attacks first, blinding him in fog, and he responds by turning her cloak into a block of amber that encases her. Wolverine frees her, leaving himself open to attack, but Sean Cassidy halts Proteus by shooting him in the shoulder with a pistol. Hell yeah,
My one
Sean.
weakness. Bullets.
It is. For him, it is. They're
I
made of
know.
metal.
Yeah.
Proteus opens a pit below Sean, and as he falls, closes it up. Cyclops
Jesus
sets about
Christ.
saving him by blasting a tunnel through the earth and sending Nightcrawler down it.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, first of all, that's terrifying. Fall into a pit, the pit closes up, now you're just encased in the earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know if blasting down is the way to get you out of it. I think that would literally just blast you down even further.
Yes.
I don't know how you blast.
It's not like a shovel.
I don't know how you blast around me.
Look, how many tunnels have you dug with your eyes, Matt?
You're right. Yeah, right. Good point. Only like 2 or 3.
As Nightcrawler in the pit grabs Sean, Proteus closes up the earth again, forcing Kurt to teleport them upwards and blind, where Polaris catches both of them midair and lowers them to the ground. I guess she is just telekinetic via magnets now.
I guess that's her power. I don't know.
The X-Men regroup even as Phoenix rushes ahead to catch Proteus. She stops him at the foot of Edinburgh Castle, and they engage in a battle of wills, with Proteus coming out on top when Wolverine leaps from the bushes and tears into him with his claws. Wolverine grabs Moira and begins climbing Castle Rock with her hanging from his shoulders, while Cyclops and Havoc pummel Proteus from either side. He regathers his senses and changes form, soaring high into the air and snatching Moira from Wolverine. He also dissolves the rock Wolverine is holding onto, causing him to fall, though he's saved by Cyclops, bouncing him on pulsing optic blasts like a game of keepy uppy. Wolverine's dialogue is here is, ow! Ow!
Oh, wow. It's really good. It's about the best Wolverine's ever been.
Up on the castle battlements, Proteus advances on Moira, taunting her. He tells her that since an act of violence created him, he was doomed to be evil and destroy humanity. When Colossus arrives and throws him into a wall, he says, "You will destroy nothing."
Yeah.
This disintegrates Joe MacTaggert's dumb body, leaving Proteus in his true energy form. A white hole in 3-dimensional space.
It's fucking cool looking.
Peter, who for some reason is in human form right now, finds himself suddenly bursting into flame and cringing in pain as he thinks back to the day his brother, Mikhail, died on a Russian astronautical landing pad. I think that would be cosmonautical, right?
What's the difference between a cosmonaut and an astronaut?
One is Russian, the other is American.
Okay.
Filled with anger and determination, Colossus shifts to metal form and thrusts both fists into the void that is Proteus. The resulting explosion lights up the sky, and when it fades, Proteus is gone. The X-Men fly to the castle battlements, where Sean and Moira finally reunite in earnest, and the X-Men share a needed, happy-ish ending. The end.
Fucking, that was an intense story.
My God.
Jesus Christ.
Really pays off on the, like, if we take out the stuff that we trigger warned about, right?
Yeah.
It really pays off at the end. Like, it feels recently I've been feeling like they come into a lot of like, oh, but the villain accidentally pulls this lever instead, or they like they're knocked off balance and then somebody's able to hit them. This feels like an unearned ending where they've planted this metal thing or inorganic material weakness throughout the story.
Yeah.
Colossus plunges his metal fists into the heart of the energy form and just like it makes sense. It tracks. It feels like the appropriate threat level was dealt with by the appropriate threat de-escalator. Couple other things about this issue that I thought were neat moments. Number one, Alex internally expresses his resentment for Wolverine just because Wolverine is always giving his brother shit. Like, it's just a good little brother moment of like, man, that guy should stop talking so much shit to my brother someday.
Yeah, he remains best little brother in the Marvel universe.
That's right. And also, I don't think we've mentioned this as one of the common Claremontisms, but it's quickly becoming my favorite, which is that would have killed a normal person, but
yeah,
I love that. This whole arc, how fucking intense was that?
Just so intense, man.
Jesus Christ.
That was a wild one. It's almost like I feel like we're gonna need something a little lighter.
It sort of is
just
before we lighten up here. It gave me the same almost like internal tension, that like slight sense of dread that you get when you're reading a good story.
Oh, right.
That the Amal Farouk story gave me of like, just there's some creeping intense power here. It's being drawn and narrated in a way that really makes it feel kind of like this heart pounding, psychological thriller.
It almost feels like this is without getting too much into what's coming. With the saga is coming. There's no reason to be coy about it.
I'm going to beep it out.
It almost feels like this is a primer for that. You know what I mean? Is it pronounced primer? Somebody I've heard before is pronounced primer. Seems wrong.
I like to say primer, but mostly because you're the one that told me it's pronounced primer once upon a time.
But it almost feels like a primer for the saga, right? Like this really big and emotional, drawn out, seeded through other stories thing is coming, and here's like a smaller version of it to prepare you,
right? Like a really good appetizer.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Proteus so far I think is maybe the most mature, not just because it has really fucking adult themes, but the most mature storytelling we've seen in the X-Men so far.
Yeah. And as a character, as a villain, he's got more motivation, I think, than most of the ones that we've seen.
Although I don't know what he was going to eventually, I don't know what he was going to do. He mentioned something about taking over humanity or whatever, but I don't really know what it is. That's just that's the albatross that all comic book writers have to bear around their necks is sometimes somebody's motivated by taking over the whole world, and we just gotta live with it.
Yeah, if you can't think of anything else, they want to take over the world. All right, let's lighten things up, Matt.
Let's get a little sillier. With X-Men Annual number 3, A Fire in the Sky.
Well, that doesn't sound very funny.
It's written by Chris Claremont.
Well, that doesn't sound very funny.
It's drawn by George Perez and Terry Austin. George Perez, Pat.
Interesting. Matt, tell me about George Perez.
He's mostly legendary for being a DC artist, right? He did Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
Which is, one of the biggest comic books of its time.
It's a big deal. It's pretty well drawn.
He also did, I think he did Infinity Gauntlets. Like, he did a lot of Avengers stuff. He did a lot of, he did the Teen Titans that, with Marv Wolfman.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that them? He's cool. He's a really good artist. Anyway, Tom Ors, whoever that is our letterer. G. Ween, whoever that is our colorist. R. Stern is our editor, Rebel Stern, Roy Stern, I don't know. Jay Shooter, editor-in-chief. I don't know who that is, but
Jump.
Jump. Release date November 20th, 1979. Cover date August 1979. Isadora. Wait. What's up?
How does that make sense?
Excuse me?
Why is the cover date August 79 and the release date is 3 months later?
Yeah, let's look this up. All right. I can tell you it doesn't say a date on the cover.
Well,
that was according to the Marvel Wiki, Marvel Fan Wiki, which is usually very well kept up.
Never wrong.
But I don't fucking know. Anyway, Isadora and Wynnegarde Uhmen.
Isadora and Wynnegarde Uhmen.
They're up before dawn, preparing their New York City newsstand for a typical weekday when a lightning bolt strikes directly in front of them. It's Arkon!
Oh.
A man dressed in fur underwear and a spiky helmet and nothing else. He carries a shield and a quiver of lightning bolts of different colors. I immediately hate him. Like, the moment he appears, I'm just like, I fucking hate this guy. You know?
Yeah. Because here comes Blastar again.
Exactly. Arkon only, up till this point, he's only appeared in a handful of Avengers issues and one Fantastic Four story. He has 31 appearances in the Marvel Universe at all.
Through time.
Yeah, through time. And we will see him 2 more times ever.
Incredible. That's 1 in 12, Matt.
All right, this guy, this fucking dork, he immediately heads for Avengers Mansion, suggesting that he's not here to fight, but rather to beg for help. He starts doing this by assaulting Jarvis. Tony Stark and the Avengers' loyal butler, demanding to know where Thor is. Jarvis doesn't know. Thor's off doing his own thing right now. What's Thor doing at this point?
I don't know, Matt. We're not following Thor.
Why is this guy being a dick to Jarvis?
Leave Jarvis alone. That poor man suffers all the worst fates.
And he's just being, like, grilled, like, on Thor's whereabouts and Iron Man. It seems like, do you think he just keeps a notebook with just meticulous notes on where every superhero in the Marvel Universe is at any time? Because he knows if it hasn't happened this week, it'll happen next week. Some dipshit's going to show up at my door, grab me by the throat and say, "Where is Tigra?" And he's going to have to be like, "Okay, she's in the Bahamas."
I have permission to tell villains where superheroes are if I know.
Oh, they're all
otherwise they'll kill me.
Oh, man. So, all right. Arkon, while he's beating up Jarvis, receives a telepathic message from a Grand Vizier, letting him know there is another on Earth with the power they need. Arkon senses this and heads in the direction of that power. Cut to the Danger Room. The X-Men are practicing as Sean watches and smokes his pipe, observing that Scott is testing them by giving advice rather than his usual commands, and seeing how they react. Things go haywire, of course, and the Danger Room tries to kill everyone. They all make it out, stressed and tired, except Wolverine, who is having a blast. Pat.
Now,
yeah.
This is an extended sequence to help fill out the pages of an annual.
Yeah.
It seems like the default setting to the Danger Room, if things start going wrong, is kill everyone inside.
Exactly. If the computers for the Danger Room ever get damaged, it's use everything you have. Hit him with everything and don't be able to turn off.
This is like the emergency lighting in a hospital when the power goes out.
Yeah. Imagine if
turn everything on and kill.
Like your oven was like this. like if the dial breaks, it just turns up to the hottest power and it doesn't turn off. And turns on all the burners too.
And there's one single button in the back of the oven.
You have to reach your hand through the hottest the oven's ever been to press that button.
There is exactly one button that deactivates everything in the danger room.
Yeah. And Cyclops, I think, presses it with like a I-beam.
Yep.
Yeah, cool stuff. Storm is stressed enough, because she thinks it's her fault, to need some time alone, but Scott catches up to her before she walks off, and they have a meaningful conversation about the purpose of being an X-Man, and if it's really worth sacrificing their entire lives for. Storm was happy in Kenya, and Scott knows this sacrifice all too well.
Yeah.
They don't come to any resolution, but they find trust in that bond with each other. Back in her room, trying to relax, Storm is attacked! Arkon has somehow snuck in, but he's clearly unaware of her powers. She creates a hurricane on the spot, sending him flying across the room. Downstairs, Scott is mourning Jean.
Roger Stern very aggressively reminds us that he already told us this takes place before the events of X-Men number 125.
Dipshit.
It's a huge editor's note. It's like, listen, nerds, I already said.
Stop bothering me. Banshee's keeping him company. Sean notices that the sounds of Aurora's storm are louder than usual when Arkon falls right through the floor into their laps. Scott immediately recognizes him as a B Avengers villain and blasts him straight outside into the pool where Peter is trying to relax.
Scott's like, that's an Avengers villain. I saw him on the news.
And he continues to say shit like that. He's like, I saw that when he uses his bolts, this happens. And the people that it happened to was their ultimate fate. Anyway, at Scott's command, Peter slaps the fuck out of this guy, knocking him into the woods off the main property. He starts throwing red lightning bolts at everyone, but he's no match for the X-Men hand to hand. Even though he's strong enough to withstand their attacks, he can't keep up with their combo of speed and power. He gets his ass so beat.
He's just getting knocked around.
Yeah. He's getting just like punched in the face, like he gets knocked through the floor, then blasted out the window, and then punched across a pool, and then his shield gets cut in half, and he's like, how is that even possible? And Wolverine's like, I'm gonna kill you next. And Cyclops is like, beat up this clown, literally calls him a clown.
It's great.
It's so good. Like, I hated this guy so much. It's so, like, just looking at him, it's so good to see him get his ass
satisfying
beat so hard.
Yeah.
Recognizing that he's beaten, Arkon throws a yellow lightning bolt, not a red one, at Storm, and she disappears. The X-Men, fearing she's been murdered, get ready to kill him. Colossus pulls a fucking tree out of the ground and slams him with it.
It's so cool. It's an old tree.
But Cyclops gives him one chance to tell them where Storm is. He notes that Arkon only used yellow lightning bolts on Storm, and that in his battle with the Avengers, those were the teleporty bolts that didn't actually do any damage. Wolverine hears threatening to kill him, and I just kept thinking how fucking funny it would be if Wolverine would have just cut his head off.
Scott was like, hang on a second, and Wolverine just went, oh,
yeah.
Whoops.
There's another moment where I think it'd be even funnier, but we'll get to that in a second. Scott takes all the yellow lightning bolts out of Arkon's quiver, and, hoping this works, tosses them all to the ground. Suddenly, they find themselves in the middle of the royal court of the Imperion, Arkon's metal Viking people, and announce themselves as the captors of Arkon. They're willing to trade his life for Storm's, and everyone can leave happy. Arkon doesn't care. He's willing to give his life to save his people. This is where it would be the funniest if Wolverine is like, okay, and just cuts his head off in front of everybody. Oh God! And then they just had to go the rest of the issue, and Arkon's just dead, just lying in a pool. A battle breaks out in this issue, not in my scenario. The X-Men versus 100 weird alien humanoids in metal Viking costumes. Even the Imperion are forced to admit that the X-Men are holding their own against their army. We also see the Vizier figure we saw earlier sneaking off to avoid the battle. A pair of familiar eyes and blue tail hide in the shadows not far behind him, following his every step.
Oh, Kurt Rupert.
While the X-Men are locked in a seemingly endless battle, Kurt follows the Vizier all the way to a secret temple where he finds Storm dressed in a regal, gemmed bathing suit, of course, talking of willingly giving her life for the Imperion. She must be under some influence, but how can Kurt warn the rest of the team before Storm sacrifices herself? He springs into action, teleporting in and wrapping Storm's cape around her head, knowing that the ambush and her claustrophobia are enough to create a big, sudden bolt. Kurt is flung to the side, but the rest of the X-Men receive the message. Back in the fight, Colossus rides in on a fucking dragon.
Jesus. This is so cool. Yeah,
it's
sure.
So cool.
Dragons exist in this world. Whatever. This is the coolest fucking thing he's ever done.
Yeah. Wolverine's like, oh, things are getting tough. We got to get out of here. And Colossus from off panel's like, I got you, man. And then you next see him reaching down from a fucking dragon. It's so cool.
He's like, yeah, I found it.
Really? That's like how he picks the X-Men up out of the battle and flies them all towards the bolt of lightning they just saw. They arrive up on the mountain temple, but Storm doesn't want to come with them. She's not under any sort of influence. She's willing to sacrifice herself to save Arkon's people.
Wow.
See, Arkon explains. The last time he came to Earth to try to steal power from the Avengers, they ended up building him a machine that was powered by Thor's lightning and would keep the light energy that powers their planet alive, which they all need to live. This is actually kind of cool sci-fi concept. It's like, rather than a sun, they have like a glowing...
Like a field of light energy that surrounds their planet.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking rad. But this device needs to be recharged every once in a while. It's also, okay, backing up, it's a cool scenario, like idea, but the thing is, the sun is like a nearly unlimited source of energy, right. And it's the energy coming from the sun that allows us to live.
Yeah.
So if all you have is a little wispy ring around your planet, you're not gonna live for I don't care how many times you recharge this thing. You're not living for very long.
It also seems like, so the last time it was recharged when it was initially created was Avengers 75, which took place in 1970. We're now in 1979, and it's already drained to the point where his people are about to die.
Yeah.
This isn't...
It
made it last a little longer than that.
It almost might be a mercy to just be like, sorry guys, you're on your own.
So once I help you, you're kind of out of options back on Earth.
Right. Or just even keeping Storm there to just zap everything every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That is like the level of sustainability they have here. Okay. It was powered by Thor's lightning, but that would keep the light energy that powers their planet alive, which they all need to live. But this device needs to be recharged every once in a while, which is why Arkon returned to Earth to get new batteries, which is a woman. Storm, knowing that she likely won't survive the process, is willing to charge this device for them. Cyclops understands, but says he won't allow her to sacrifice herself. Instead, he asks Wolverine and Nightcrawler to rewire this complicated device that Tony Stark built to receive optic blasts instead of lightning. Oh, it's a lightning receiver. You just have to switch it over to optic blast receiver.
Can you optic blast energy? You know that type, that form?
Yeah, I think you just have to change a few wires and then it'll get optic blast energy instead of
It
lightning
is
energy. Whatever we call that.
This is the difference, I guess, between Chris Claremont and Roy Thomas, where Roy Thomas would have just said, can you just rewire it to accept optic blasts instead of lightning? And whoever he was barking commands at would have been like, sure, boss, it's done. And Chris Claremont has to have Wolverine and Kurt argue with him, saying, that's not possible, man.
Yeah.
This was built by Tony Stark. I'm not sure that optic blast is an actual form of energy.
Wolverine's like,
but then they still do it.
Wolverine's like, I don't know. I can fix a car. I don't know. I can fix a car. And Nightcrawler's like, fucking Banshees taught me a little bit about computers. I don't know how to do this. But I do love this, like, Wolverine and Nightcrawler gaining this, like, technological skills. Like, it'll keep coming back in the Claremont run as, like, they're now the tech whizzes.
Hacker Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't wait.
Oh, man. So Cyclops, he's gonna do it himself is the thing, instead of Storm. All right. At Scott's command, Storm blasts him with the most powerful lightning blast she can conjure. He metabolizes it into optic energy, though it's pointed out that it runs a little rough since his optic blasts work on solar energy. But it does the trick, Pat.
Hang on.
What? Is it just that they're doing this fucking thing again? Everybody shoot me so I can shoot at another thing and the whole world will be saved?
It's not just that. This is an annual, so we can expect that it's going to be a little goofy. They're going to have some... What's blowing my mind here is we know, yes, that Scott's optic blasts work on solar power. We know that because we read the butt issues of these old original X-Men comics that told the origin story of Cyclops. This is not the first time that Chris Claremont has referenced that directly either. Like, there is... Chris Claremont knows the story, and I think...
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you mentioned on an earlier episode that Chris Claremont once was like, hey, I have a great idea for Cyclops' origin story. And John Byrne was like, he's already got an origin story, dude. You should probably read up on these comics. And it seems like he did. And just as a sort of malicious compliance, references it every 3 issues.
I mean, I assume it's just on like index cards in the office, but like I really like your version of the story is so much better. Fucking okay, so they're doing this.
It does the trick.
They all shoot Cyclops, and then he shoots the machine, and the mountain explodes as energy is restored to the planet, and everyone's saved. Some of the Imperion arrive on the scene, sure that everyone involved is dead. Luckily, though, the explosion created a vortex that protected the temple and everyone in it, and placing it perfectly on the ground below while the mountain under them exploded. Everyone's just lying on their backs across the mountain, perfectly fine.
To be dead. This will be great. They surely think we're dead.
Everyone's okay. The X-Men go home. The end. They go home in stupid costumes. They're all wearing like dumb, like not even Viking costumes. I don't even know what to call these things.
Picture someone doesn't know the difference between a Viking and a caveman.
And then it's Masters of the Universe costumes. That's exactly it.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're all wearing them. Fucking, they look like such big dorks. It's also okay. So, again, Claremont does this thing. Everybody shoot me and I'll shoot. And then he does a Claremontism. He's like, if eyes are the windows to the soul, then what lives in the soul of Scott Summers? For his eyes create the powerful. Like, come on, man. Stop it.
That is such a... I can't believe... Referring to Cyclops with the eyes or the windows to the soul feels so familiar that Claremont has either used this before or we have said it in an impression of Chris Claremont.
Fuck. Fingers are usually used to love and caress, but when they're extended from the forearms and made out of adamantium, they are used for deadlier purposes. Fucking Claremont. But Scott, and we're going to talk about this, I think, a little bit more in our final thoughts, but Scott's really decisive in this issue, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
People look to him for decisions, and he just speaks very decisively. It's like really cool character development. And like when Banshee's like, "Oh, I really wish I could be going with you but me voice is all fucked up." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "So do I. Let's go." Like, it's so fucking. Colossus is like, "Things are going on top of that mountain. There's all this energy. What should we do?" And the Cyclops is just like, land. It's like, I don't know. Something about that is so fucking good. Like, yeah. I think it's Claremont reining himself in to speak it, to write in Cyclops' voice, which I think is what I love so much about it.
Yeah, it speaks to his growing confidence as a character too. Like, he's no longer the interim leader. He is the owner of the X-Men.
Right. He's got to keep them together. He's got to keep them alive. He's got to protect the world from evil mutants, and he's got to carry on Xavier's dream. And yeah, it's finally like taking that maybe seriously. Also, fucking George Perez's art is so good.
It's
you're not loving it?
I think it's good. I think it's really good in certain places, but I also think that like the big battle scenes seem almost unintelligible. It's like that that thing that gets really prevalent in the 90s where it's just like, let's draw as many lines on these characters as we can, let's stuff as many people into a small space as we can, and just make everything explode all over the place. Like, it gets hard to tell whose arm belongs to who because there's so many limbs reaching out and punching.
Okay, I can agree with that. Like, there's a lot of people packed into the panels. I don't think I had that trouble, but like, it's just, he has such attention to detail though. If you do look closely, it's like Colossus is punching while he's like smashing a dude's face with his other hand, and the guy's going like, there's a hand in my face, and like falling over. And like, you can track, it's like there's like a 2-page spread where you can track Cyclops's beams from one side all the way to the other. And like Nightcrawler bamfs away in the middle of that fight. You can see a little bamf, and you don't see him again until he pops up following the Vizier. Also, he does a thing that I think a lot of artists fail at, which is he makes Colossus flexible.
Yes.
Like, Chris Claremont has to remind us fucking 3 times an issue, has to have somebody say, "Oh, he's actually faster than he looks."
Yeah. He's surprisingly agile.
He's surprisingly fast. Oh, I always forget how much faster PD is than he looks. But like, you can see that in this issue.
In George Perez's art.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I dislike the art that George Perez does. I think he gets emotion exactly right. I think that the issue is with the Shi'ar saga. Stop threatening me. With the Shi'ar saga, we saw Dave Cockrum and John Byrne draw these huge, action-packed, full-on war battle scenes with the X-Men, and it looked precise. It looked so clean, and a story unfolded as your eyes went across the page. And it feels like this just doesn't live up to that. And maybe it's unfair to compare to the Shi'ar saga, but
you know, I again wonder if this is a difference between this and the reprints.
Yeah, it does seem like they fucked up the printing on this one in some places, so it could be.
Anyway, it's for such a shitty character, Arkon, and such kind of like a dorky premise. It's great.
It's good, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I went into it expecting a whole bunch of like the crap. The first thing you see is Arkon, and whether or not you know he's a shitty one-time Avengers villain, he looks ridiculous. You can
uninspiring.
see this having read all the issues of X-Men up to this and say, this is going to be a dumb, boring story.
And it
kind of is.
Those first like 5 pages of him just walking around doing shit are kind of dumb and boring.
Yeah, it feels very like early Roy Thomas. It feels aimless.
Yeah.
And this is the difference, because I think this is just meant to be like a one-off sort of fun issue. The difference is that what Roy Thomas wouldn't do is take the time to insert a conversation between Cyclops and Storm about the impact and the sacrifice that they have to make in order to be X-Men, and whether or not it's actually worth it.
Roy Thomas would have crammed something like that into 4 lines of dialogue, or like 9 lines of dialogue in 2 panels.
Yeah.
But I think this issue really starts coming alive when they start beating the fuck out of Arkon. And then from there, it's just magic. It's just electric.
Yeah. It really picks up, and I think the story's a little silly, but you can ignore that and just enjoy the rest of it, and it's just as good.
Yeah, the characterizations are great. Also, the other cool thing I'll say about George Perez, he does backgrounds. He does really elaborate and impressive backgrounds at a time when most of these backgrounds that we're reading in these comics, even by great artists like Dave Cockrum and John Byrne, are just colors or like lines or
or it's like half drawn.
Yes,
because the eye doesn't get drawn to it.
Or circuitry. Like just random circuitry just to say that, oh, we're in a lab or whatever.
Yeah, but George Perez puts us in a world that has lost its sun. And you can believe it. It's exciting.
Even walking around New York looked really cool. Like I was impressed from the very beginning. Also, I should say, in case people are confused, this is annual number 3. X-Men annuals 1 and 2 were during the Dark Era, and they were both reprints.
Right. Which is, I don't know if we're, go ahead.
Actually, they weren't during the Dark Era, but they were reprints nonetheless.
Another interesting and somewhat related fact is that during the Dark Era, Marvel was only printing reprints of the X-Men, but they continued the issue number order. So there were 26 issues that took the X-Men from, what was it, 64 to 90, and then we picked back up the actual X-Men.
It was in 69 to 94.
Yeah, you're right. So there's 26 issues that were numbered, but are actually just reprinted stories. We just hit issue number 126, which means we're finally actually at X-Men issue number 100.
We've read 100 issues of this bullshit. No, it's not bullshit anymore. It's good
Plus
now.
A lot of other comics.
Speaking of other comics, no, we'll talk about that later. No, let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
We are taking a break from the X-Men for the next 2 episodes.
Sort of.
Look, we're going to take a break from the X-Men, and when we come back, it's likely going to be a fucking supersized episode. As we address the most famous, there's no way to break this up, right? This is going to be the most famous X-Men story of all time. It's the saga. Don't beat me, Pat. Don't beep it out.
I will. I'm going to. We have done it consistently to this point.
So it's going to be a long episode. That'll be 2 episodes from now. episode, what was it? Fucking
28, I think?
28. Yeah. In the meantime, so get ready for that. In the meantime, we are going to see what Angel and Iceman have been up to off on their own, having silly little adventures in The Champions.
The Champions by Bill Mantlo.
With Hercules and Black Widow and Ghost Rider in Los Angeles, California.
What could they possibly be doing together?
I can't wait to find out. So those next... Yeah.
The appearance of Ghost Rider on a team always cracks me up because he's doing the Lord's righteous work and destroying sinners while everybody else is fighting actual crime.
Man, I love this. I'm so excited for it. We'll probably do like micro recaps of each issue because we've got 9 issues per episode for the next 3 episodes.
Yeah, please listen. Please listen anyway.
Please, and you know, we'll do the call to action at the end, but you know, share this with people. We don't want to be doing this for fucking nothing. And we think the next 2 episodes are going to be super fun, and then we're going to fucking talk about the saga. Holy shit!
Beep. I'm beeping you there.
All right, so. Back to our format.
He's got an eye out, stuff that you could buy out. If you had a time machine that you would like to try out, it's Pat Steals and Steals.
That's right, folks. It's time for Pat Steals and Deals. Matt, I have a very exciting advertisement to tell you about today.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Here's how it opens. How we saved the universe with our banana talkies and got back to tell about it with our banana compasses. Okay, here's the main copy. We were on patrol when the spaceship landed. My partner and I split up to get a closer look. But before I knew it, I was captured by hostile aliens. I have just one request before you disintegrate me, I said. Can I finish my lunch? I calmly pulled out my banana talkie. It's a real walkie-talkie, but it looks like a Chiquita banana. Secretly, I beeped out our coordinates on the hidden Morse code button. Meanwhile, my partner used the banana compass to send help in our direction. North! It's north! Thanks to Chiquita bananas and some quick thinking, the invasion was stopped and the universe is once again safe from evil.
So they're like, okay, so they got aliens kidnapped this kid. And he was like, can I please eat my lunch first? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Take however long you want to poke at that giant banana.
This guy healing it.
This guy's just poking at a giant banana, and he's been doing it for 5 minutes. He keeps referencing some piece of paper in his pocket.
It's got an antenna for some reason, the banana.
Like a really long one, because this is 1970.
So, a pair of solid-state 11-inch walkie-talkies with voice volume control, telescopic antenna, Morse code chart, secret beep button, and belt clip. You can carry this banana around on your belt.
I want the belt clip for sure. Like, I wonder if you could still find it.
Only $13.95 and 3 stickers from Chiquita bananas.
This is during the time period, am I right, where Chiquita banana is actively overthrowing governments and like genociding people
and making walkie-talkies. You could so the walkie-talkie set is $13.95. The banana compass, a 5 3/4 inch long plastic banana, it's smaller. That holds a liquid-filled compass capsule. Inside is a rotating dial that always remains upright so it can be read easily. Only $2.50 and 3 stickers from Chiquita bananas. Now, let's do a little math here. So, again, if you have been keeping up, we're in 1979. The US dollar, although it seems like there are A lot of fluctuations in our near future, but right now the US dollar is worth about $4.45 of purchasing power
Okay.
to $1 in 1979, meaning that our $13.95 walkie-talkie set comes to about $62.78 for a pair of walkie-talkies that look like bananas. Bananas with antennas and speakers.
Pat, you're underselling it on purpose. It also comes with a banana compass and banana belt clip.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. The banana compass is going to cost you about $11.25 in today's money.
No!
The
Separately!
the belt clip is just for the walkie-talkie, to attach the banana walkie-talkie to your belt.
Fuck. That I'm gonna buy it, but I'm still upset.
$75, you can get the whole set. So that's not bad. Compass, walkie-talkies. If you're lost in the woods.
That is a really just superlative steal and deal.
Thank you.
Got an eye out, stuff that you could buy out. If you had a time machine that you would like to try out, it's cat deals and
Oh,
well,
boy.
all right. Let's talk about the X-Men just for another second. What are your final thoughts on this little shit?
I think you're right that the Proteus arc really felt like it's trying to prime us for some larger but just as dark story arcs.
Right.
It was chilling to read through that story. I didn't know anything about this coming in, so like the way they unravel his mutant power, the way that they show him using it and how terrifying it really can be, really while still like working in the stories that we need to about the X-Men, closing some gaps, sort of shutting some doors that were left open, and then full on whiplash for X-Men Annual number 3, where we get into a lighthearted romp with a bunch of naked Vikings.
I know. Well, to be fair, that's how we ordered it. The Viking romp was actually right before this. But yeah, man, it's a really wild, really intense story. I love there's some growth happening here. The X-Men are behaving both more like a team and more like a family.
And like
Scott,
and like an elite squad, right? They are no longer a bunch of bumbling teenagers or a bunch of misfits that can't get along together. They are operating with precision and tact.
Just like get in and fuck them up.
Yeah.
Right. The way that they beat the hell out of Arkon is a good example of them doing it on the fly, and the way that they break into
Muir Island.
Muir Island is them doing it having planned.
Yeah.
Scott really coming into his own as a leader. Like, this is Scott at his best. This is Scott, the best Scott as leader. That there has been yet.
He is in charge, and he's up to the task.
And he's also just being smart and sensitive, right? Like, he's just operating as a leader on all fronts. And I love it. We also get this, starts out subtle and becomes maybe more overt as it goes along, this growth of Phoenix's power levels and the fracturing of her psyche, letting us know that something is coming and it's not gonna be good. Yeah,
it's incredible to watch. Like, being very familiar with as I think a lot of people are, the events leading up to it, I'll liken it to reading the Spider-Man Black Suit saga, where you know what happens once he gets the black suit. You may even know what happens, like how he gets the black suit, but there are a year or two of comics in between him getting the suit and really getting corrupted. Like, it's just a slow roll while he just does his Spider-Man stuff.
And we're getting the same thing here.
Getting the same thing here a couple
With
years
Phoenix.
earlier with Phoenix.
Yeah. Wild. So yeah, I mean, as we're heading into 1980 in this series, which is also nuts. We started at 1963.
No, we're about to hit the 80s, Matt.
Wow.
As we head the me generation.
As we head into the 1980s, the comic has never been better. So yeah, I mean, this is some good fucking comics, man.
Whew.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. You can find us wherever you get podcasts and share us and like us and all that stuff. You can email us if you want to be part of Pat's email corner at mutantmenacepod@gmail.com. If you want to be part of our street team, send us an email with subject line street team and your address and favorite X-Man. And we'll send you some flyers and a
hand-drawn picture.
Probably of that favorite X-Men. I'm going to use a real piece of paper for mine.
Big thanks, as always, to Krills Wilson for most of our music, and to Julia Selly for providing the voice of Trish Tilby in our intro.
I saw her recently. She's doing very well.
She's great. Tell her I said hi back then.
Okay, back then. You guys find us on Instagram, Mutant Menace Pod.
Please.
All right, everybody. That leaves us only one thing left to do, which is to say the catchphrase that we say at the end of every episode, and that is, I'd have a better chance survival jogging through a minefield.
That's right, folks. As always, oh no, he transformed my gun into a snake.